Hey everyone, welcome back to my Mexican kitchen here in Switzerland. The recipe for today is in the Mexican bakery area. Mexicans, we love sweetbread. We really love it. And if you enjoy sweetbreads as well, you've probably gone to a Mexican panaderia and you've probably bought these breads. They are orange buns, orange flavored buns. They are super yummy, super fluffy. The brand Bimbo, which you can find in the US and many other countries, they sell them and they're also super yummy, but ours are better because they're homemade. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe and don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you can help us out with that, please. The ingredients you need to make your orange sweet buns are 600 grams of flour, 200 milliliters of milk, 120 grams of sugar, 4 egg yolks, 10 grams of active dry yeast, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 15 milliliters of orange liquor, 120 grams of butter, the grated skin of 2 oranges. For the glaze, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of orange juice. Okay, so step number 1, we have to activate our yeast. What we're going to do is we're going to put a bowl and we're going to add milk to there. It has to be warm milk. If you've had kids, it's bottle temperature milk. And please do not use hot milk, otherwise that will kill the effect and your yeast won't activate. You put the milk in the bowl, you sprinkle your yeast there, and from the total amount of sugar that I gave you for the recipe, you just borrow a tablespoon from there and you sprinkle it. I like mixing it in with a spoon. My husband just leaves it as it is, so both forms work. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit on the counter for 20 to 30 minutes until it foams up. If it foams up, you know that the yeast activated. If it hasn't foamed up, then it's not working. Okay, so here's the next step. Step number 2 and 3 kind of mixed in there. We're going to start making our dough. So what we need is, I'm going to be using the KitchenAid. I'm a bit lazy with doughs. If I have this beautiful machine that does all the work for me, why not use it? If you guys have one, use them. It's really good. So the first thing we do is we put our dry ingredients in a bowl. We're going to put the flour, the sugar, and the salt, and we can either give it a whisk or with a fork or a sugar mix it in. After that, we add our activated yeast, which is foamed up very nicely, as you can see. Super nice. I'm short, I forget you guys can't really see what I'm showing. And we add the butter in there as well. We continue mixing. We're going to use the bread hook. After that, we're going to add the egg yolks and the grated orange skin and the orange liqueur, and we continue mixing and mixing and mixing. You want to have a nice smooth dough that's elastic and that no longer sticks to the sides of your bowl. That's the goal. It'll take a few minutes, but that doesn't matter because you have your beautiful machine to help you with the process. Okay, so let me show you guys how the dough looks. The bowl, as you can see, it came off fully, and this dough is super nice, like really smooth, shiny, it's elastic, it's just how you want it to be. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to leave it in the bowl. We're going to cover it with a damp towel, and we're going to let it sit for 1 hour so that the dough grows a bit. It has to be in a warm spot, whether it's in your kitchen, in front of a heater, and anywhere that's warm, just so that the heat helps make it grow a bit. And for those of you who don't have a machine, you can do this by hand. All you have to do is either you use a really big bowl or you use your kitchen counter and you make a fountain with the dry ingredients. Or a volcano, I like to see it as a volcano. You put the dry ingredients in a volcano shape and you have the little hole in the middle. And there you start integrating all the wet ingredients little by little, kind of like what we did with the machine. You add your yeast, and then with your fingers you mix in, and you start adding everything little by little with the fingers. Once it's kind of all a mushy mess, Then you start using your hands and you start kneading until you end up with a dough just like the one we did with the machine. The nice thing about the machine is you can do other things while the machine is working. I already did my dishes, I did other things around the kitchen, and you guys don't have to invest in a machine like mine. I mean, there's cheaper ones which are probably just as good. It's up to everyone's budget, but I really do recommend it, especially now with people being short on money. It's something you could even do for a home business. If you make breads, a machine will be super helpful. So you can gift that to you guys for Christmas or for Thanksgiving or for anything. It's just something that I suggest. A machine is a really good investment. So let's just let this sit here for 1 hour. Okay, so our dough is ready. Before we get working on the dough, you're going to need a deep tray or a lasagna pan or anything you have, because these breads are quite big and fluffy. And you're going to line it with parchment paper. The next step is the dough. It doesn't exactly double in size, but it does blow up nicely anyhow. Here's kind of how it looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch out whatever air it did get, and we're going to knead it just slightly. After that, we're going to make 60-gram portions, so you need a scale. It's very important that they're all the same weight, like that. You have nice looking buns, so it looks all nice and even. And what we're going to do is each form, we're going to make it into a nice smooth ball. You want the smoothness to be at the top. It doesn't matter if at the bottom it looks all folded and funny, that won't show. You just want the top of your ball to be very smooth and nice. You have to put them 1 centimeter separate, each ball from each other, because they're going to grow. They're going to stick to each other eventually. They're not going to grow as individual breads. It's like this big fluffy tray of buns, but they do stick to each other. But with 1 centimeter, that's kind of what you need for them to get the shape that it's supposed to get. After that, once you filled all the tray with the little balls, you're going to cover it with plastic film and you're going to let it rest for 4 hours. You can let it rest less, but I honestly recommend you have patience and wait the 4 hours, because that's how you end up with a nice bread recipe. You need patience, and you can do other stuff meanwhile, chores, read a book, work, whatever you need to do. So just let it rest for the 4 hours so that you have these amazing buns later. Okay, so our breads are absolutely stunning, beautiful. I love how they look. I love how it smells. The next step is we're going to glaze our breads. But before we do that, please preheat your ovens at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit. While the oven is preheating, what we're going to do is the powdered sugar. We're going to add the freshly pressed orange juice. We're going to mix it in until it turns into a glaze. And with a pastry brush, we're going to brush that on all of our breads to give it a nice extra sweet taste. And once the oven has reached the temperature we need, we're gonna pop them in there for 25 minutes and then we're good to go. Okay, so our breads are finally done after many hours of waiting and my stomach gurgling and being anxious. The wait is awful, but it's worth it. Here's what you have to do. You take your breads out of the oven, you put them on a cooling rack, you take them off the baking tray, and then you put them on a cooling rack, and you let them cool down fully. After that, you can sprinkle them with powdered sugar. I like it more. It gives it a sweet taste and it looks much nicer, but that's optional. And now here comes, I already had a piece for the Spanish video, but since I made them, I deserve a second piece. And I want to show you guys how nice it looks when you pull them out. All the flaky layers, it's so nice, so nice, so nice. It's the best. So let's try it. This is a no-fail recipe. You guys have to share it with your friends. They are going to love it. Don't be selfish, share. every time we've made this recipe, it always turns out awesome. It's very easy. I don't think it's a complicated recipe, and it's so worth it. It's really yummy. So I hope you guys bake it so you can see how good it is. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.